Okay, so one of you asked me to do a long-term review of this keyboard. It's the GK-18 from CosmicByte, and well, let's do it. It's been about 6 months since I started using this keyboard, and I've been using it every single day, so I guess this is my half-yearly update of it, and I have a few issues to report. If you haven't been following the channel, then let me tell you that these are not the stock keycaps, these are the custom ones that I bought, and we have made a lot of modifications to this keyboard. You can check out all of those videos, some of which I'll link in the description. But the issues that I have to report today are all related to the cosmetics and not the functionality. This thing still works rather well. Here's an issue that I noted a few days ago. Now, when all the RGB lights are shining up, it looks pretty cool. But if I switch off the lights, that's when we see the first issue. You can see that some of the keys have this residual glow, which wasn't really there before, right? Some of them continue to stay on, as you can see the F6 key, the couple of keys in the middle, the arrow keys over there. For some reason they are glowing green, and they keep glowing like that no matter which mode you're in. Now I didn't notice that because I usually use it like this, with all RGB lights shining through. So when all the lights are shining up, it doesn't really hold its color, it works as normal. But when you switch to a mode that only lights up certain keys at a time, then you notice that those particular keys always remain green until they are lit up with that particular mode light. Now I have contacted support and they are yet to get back to me. I mean, it's only been like a few hours, but I'll let you know what they tell me. They usually respond pretty quickly within a day or so I'll leave that in the comment, or maybe some in the description somewhere. So if you're watching this a few weeks later, then you can check the description or the first comment down below, where I'll leave the update which I've gotten from the support team. But I think I have a theory of what has gone wrong, and it can be one among two things. Firstly, I think it's an issue with the LED controller underneath these switches, because they have individual LEDs. So it's possible that one of them may be not behaving in a certain way. Now of course I don't know what exactly is wrong with it, but only that light is on and it's always the same color, which doesn't respond to any of the brightness controls. Like if I try to change the brightness, that LED doesn't change. When there's a universal light going on, you don't even see it. As you can see, it behaves normally with all the other keys, but when it is not being lit up, that's when you see that faint glow. Now unfortunately in this case, I don't think there is anything I can do myself, because probably those individual LEDs have to be replaced. This may have happened last week, this may have happened last month, I'm not really sure. But thankfully the keys work still fine. As I said, there is no issue with the key registry, like the key still registers absolutely normally, and that's why I didn't notice. Now personally, I'm not really surprised or mad, because the first batch of the GK-18 keyboards that they released, which is this was one of the first batches that they put out there, it had a lot of problems, especially with the keys itself. Like the spacebar was making a lot of noise. They fixed most of those things in the second keyboard in the upcoming versions. But maybe because this was a bad batch, or maybe this was an early batch, it was prone to some issues which I didn't notice in my first few months of use. Now again, this hasn't ruined my experience in any way. As I said, I don't use it like this with all lights turned off. I use it like this with every light blasting with full RGB. That's how I like it. And when I use it like this, as you can see, it absolutely has no difference. And the second issue is with the software. I recently noticed that their new software, the updated one with per key RGB, it's pretty great for setting the individual key supports, but I think the macros are not really working, or they're not saving that well. Like I'll show you, like usually I don't use the software all too much, like I only have a few macros that I use to edit my audio, but I noticed that those macros were getting overwritten these days. So as you can see, there is only one macro that we created that day just to demonstrate. And I had created 3 more macros off camera. They keep resetting for some reason. Now it doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes the macros, as you can see, this one, it's saved there no matter what. But some of the macros that I've created, they sometimes just disappear all of a sudden. They will be working as long as the software is open and when I just minimize it like this. But when I open it back up the second time, or when I restart the system, they sometimes disappear. Again, it's a minor problem that doesn't affect me too much, but still, given that a keyboard has that feature, it should work most of the time. But even after all these issues, I don't think it's a deal breaker, because this thing is around 2000 or 2100 and I can't think of a single keyboard with this many features in this price range. The closest competitor to this would be, I think, the Anti-Sports MK1200. That is also a pretty nice keyboard, but it doesn't have the RGB features that we have. Now if you're thinking of buying this and after seeing this minor RGB issue you're thinking of not buying it, that's okay. You are welcome to wait until I update that issue in the description. But if you already have it and you're worried that your keyboard might suffer the same way, I wouldn't be worried so much, because it's not the same thing for everyone. Maybe your keyboard won't have any problems even after several years. And mine still continues to work, as I said. It's just the light that's keeping on even after I switch it off. But everything else is great, the typing experience is great, the keys don't feel weird or anything like that, they all register just fine, and the software RGB modes also work. I only wish that the macros would work the same way as well. And in case you're wondering, I just replaced these keycaps because these new ones look nicer to me. There's nothing wrong with the older keycaps, so you can continue to use it with the stock ABS plastic ones. We can't always escape our problems, sometimes we have to just live with them. But anyways, other than that, let me know if you have any further questions on this keyboard.